Lights, Camera, Barstool movie and TV news time, and quite a bit today. Our first one here in December. Every now and then, the industry just shits out a bunch of trailers. It's one of those times. A lot of trailers, a lot of news, but trailers are significantly more important in this on this day than just pull quotes from Robert Downey Jr., who people can't stop fucking asking if he's Iron Man. Variety's like, are you Tony Stark, brother? Just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Like, he's trying to win a fucking Oscar. Leave him alone this year.
And in Vanity Fair's defense, Robert Downey Jr. does act just like he
does, for sure.
There was a while there during the like Avengers Infinity War press tour where he was like dressing like Tony Stark. Yeah. He's wearing these ridiculous suits, the glasses.
It's going to be a long award season for him. It's a lot of campaigning. It's a lot of appearances. He is definitely a favorite and a front runner for Best Supporting Actor. I think he should. I think he's amazing in Oppenheimer. But like, the questions are going to be: he's going to snap at some point. He's going to be like, "Fucking stop talking about Marvel.
Do the Wakanda forever."
Yeah,
I wish he had his own symbol of that.
Hey, put these glasses on. Hey, you want to put these glasses on for us, Bob? Bob Jr., Bob Downey. Put these on.
Pepper, hold up the Oscar.
Say it again.
Like, what was this thing? Pepper, right?
No, Pepper. Yeah.
No. Fuck. What's Saturday and what was the other one? Jarvis or Friday?
Oh, Friday. Yeah, Friday.
Yeah,
and
Friday
Jarvis,
and Jarvis. Yeah.
Come on, let him be. Let him be. A lot of trailers though. We'll start out with Marvel. Fuck it, why not? Avengers Kang Dynasty. Our good friend Michael Waldron writing Avengers Kang Dynasty, which it was rumored he was not a part of that anymore, but like he is still part of Marvel and writing those things, which does lead the idea that Kang is probably not fully going away. Waldron, showrunner, co-creator of Loki, which has been a huge. I mean, that's the thing. It's like he wasn't as involved with the new season of Loki, but like it's the best thing they've done. So I don't know. Keep on the guys who do the good stuff. I guess that's for sure.
And it was, I think, Mark, like at least to me. And it's like I still enjoyed Loki. I think it was a worse season without him. And that's all relative. It's still like the worst of two seasons of Loki is better than like every other thing Marvel Television has made so far. But still, I do think it was better with him.
Yeah, so he's back on that.
Thank God. Never doubted it. Never doubted that the Kang Dynasty was going to happen, or that. I mean, some people have been down on Marvel lately. Not me. Haven't been down on Marvel once. Michael Waldron is going to step right in and continue the long storied success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I can't wait. No, but for real, I am happy he got this, and hopefully there's nothing that fucks it up this time. Not to make excuses on Multiverse of Madness, which we all enjoyed to varying degrees, which I've actually liked more since I left the theater on that one.
I still like that movie.
But yeah, him having like a full runway to really flesh this out. The script on the Multiverse of Madness thing, that was madness, which I pun intended. But
it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Like I could see it maybe even changing. Like I don't think it'll guarantee for sure to be all Kang. Also, if you like avoiding Marvel spoilers, be very careful about Deadpool 3. By the way, people are obsessed. Dude. People are obsessed with posting spoilers for that movie. It's unbelievable.
I mean, DF, what are we doing, buddy?
Not just I get if it's in an article like with Variety or in an article with the Hollywood Reporter, and then you report on it. Leaking set photos on fucking real.
No spoiler tag. Like you can easily the spoiler tag. It means like it is so little effort, right? Like just throw it on. It just blurs it. And if you want to see it, you want to see it. You click it. But to just throw out set spoilers with no filter on it from some of these other big accounts is fucking crazy to me. But this is good for Waldron. I do think this just reminds me of something, and I'm not sure. I didn't see this on our rundown, but someone who also related to the Marvel world that I don't think anyone's had more of a 180 personality wise for me anyway. Taika Waititi, his whole post tour with this thing where he's like, yeah, I only made Thor because I wanted money and I didn't like any of this shit. I think it's stupid. I hate Thor, all this crap. Like why would you say any of that? Like you made a movie that people still love, like regardless of whatever they think of Thor 4, like Thor Ragnarok, people really like that movie. They still like what he did with the character. Again, he turned the worst Avenger into the best Avenger. So like why is he this try hard attitude of his recently has been so fucking like unlikable. It's crazy how much of a 180 I've taken on him.
It's huge
since like the press tour of Thor 4.
It's since he had that threesome. He had that threesome, and he got a big head.
He jizzed all the likability out of him. It was crazy.
The money comment doesn't really bother me, but it's also like, dude, you got to realize like what your public perception is right now, which is that you're kind of a dick and, you know, flippant and a douchebag to the fan bases that like you. And just like you're going into Star Wars.
There is a level where it's like if you start to show hate, it's like it's a little ridiculous. Like
exactly,
like,
especially
coming along. Like he's successful without it. Like he's very successful. Jojo Rabbit won an Oscar, but there's a level of like, all right, appreciate the successful thing that you made and the fans who like it too. I'm not saying you should bend the knee to all that, but like, all right, come on.
Yeah, and then this coming off the press tour for his like independent movie that is like sitting on like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, and next goal wins, like a dog shit movie. It's like maybe like understand the situation you're in right now. We're like we talked about Taika Waititi a million times. All this stuff like pre Ragnarok, he hadn't really missed. There hadn't made anything that was bad. Everything was delightful, good. The smaller pictures like Hunt for the Wilder People, Boy, like all that stuff is great. And then just since then, he just acts like this like fucking very entitled asshole, and I just don't get it.
Yep. Weird, very weird. Big trailers though. What's this week? What's it called? CCXP.
It's Brazil Comic Con. They finally went to Brazil.
Yeah.
It's Brazil's Comic Con.
What?
I think the new Kong thing takes place in Brazil. Did you see the poster? It's like the Christ the Redeemer statue in it, so it must take place in.
I didn't even put those together.
Yeah, people thought Jesus was going to be in it, which would be hilarious. Jesus fighting the
honestly, do it.
Godzilla, stop! It's me, Jesus.
It's me, Jesus
Please.
Christ. Break bread with me. Have bread and fish with me, Kong.
Just turn it to the ultimate showdown.
So CCXP, it's their version of Comic-Con in Brazil. Always has big trailers, always has big appearances, but seemed like very ramped up this year. The big one, so a lot of trailers this week. That's why we have them. This wasn't exactly CCXP, but Furiosa. I think this was just released. The prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, though, also heavily worth noting. It's set roughly 15 years before the event of Mad Max Fury Road and is directly related. But like the lore with the Mad Max movies can be kind of taken with a grain of salt. Like there are still their own things and like to that extent. So I don't know how heavily it'll tie in. It could tie in very heavily, but it may not. It's one of those kind of like just to take with a grain of salt types of things. George Miller back to directed the last one. Did a fucking unbelievable job directing the last one. We'll talk about. I'm also directed other Mad Max movies as well, but I'm just saying he did direct the last one. He's returning from the previous one. It's not like they wanted to continue the man who made this originally, and then like, we're going to take your shit, make something else. So he's back for it. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga is the full name, by the way. Anya Taylor-Joy, Chris Hemsworth, really cool trailer. I like the look of it. Hits theaters May 2024. Very interesting reaction though. People saying journalist filmography is so funny. Mad Max, Babe, Pig in the City, Happy Feet 2, Mad Max Fury Road.
And you haven't named one miss.
No misses. But people were like, a lot of CGI in that trailer. I gotta know. There was a couple things that looked glossier maybe than the Mad Max Fury Road CGI. There's a lot of CGI in Mad Max Fury Road. There's an unbelievable, I hate to break this to you, that storm wasn't real in Mad Max Fury Road. Like a lot of it was practical, but it was an incredible use of CGI. Not to sound like I'm whatever. I sound like I'm like explaining this to people, but I did kind of get me a little bit online. People were like, there's CGI in this. There wasn't the last one too. So it's like, relax a little bit on that. It looks cool though. I don't know. I'm excited for it.
I think they're kind of, it's like a misrepresentation of what they're trying. Like they're misrepresenting themselves and what they're trying to say. I think to a degree, and that they're trying to say this looks more CGI'd. Like, for sure. And that I would agree with. I would absolutely agree. It looks way more computer animated than Mad Max was, because it was a lot of CGI, like you're saying. And I agree with that. That's I think a valid criticism of the trailer for sure. But outside of that, I mean, You get Chris Hemsworth playing a weirdo. Haven't really gotten that since like Bad Times. Love that. Weird ass nose. And they uglied him up a little bit. Love that too. Anya Taylor-Joy, always a joy to see her on screen. What's not to love? Well, I mean, it could suck. Who cares? It's not exactly like we're all like it's going to ruin or retroactively do anything about Mad Max. Would ever be able to do something like that. So I don't know. I'm pumped for it.
These aren't complicated movies. They're not. Like
car chase.
Like I just want the action to be good, and I want there to just stay engaged throughout the movie. I think Anya Taylor-Joy is the perfect choice to play a young Charlize. I saw some people saying, "Could you get someone more physically imposing?" Like Anya Taylor-Joy is like sharp and like 5'11", 6 feet tall. Like she looks athletic. Like great pick. Chris Hemsworth looks like he's going to be having fun. Definitely does look more CGI'd. No way around that. But, that stuff can get cleaned up. Maybe it does look like that in the final product. But I'm excited for it. I don't know how you can't be excited for it after every other Mad Max entry we've gotten from George Miller. Like, why would you not be excited for this? Like
Exactly.
You like movies? Do you like movies? You like this one. All right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a prequel to arguably the best action movie the last... Well, I put Mission Impossible Fallout over, but like I would say like a top 3 action movie of the last like decade. It's a prequel to it. So like from same director, I would assume a lot of the same minds on the production end of it. So like what's not to love?
It's also supposed to be like the time. By the way, Jeff, you were talking about the timeline. I don't understand this timeline at all. George Miller doesn't understand it either.
Right, which is so not the point, right? Like I don't even think they care about that. Like the point is just have a fun, badass movie. It's nice to, we live in a world where interconnectivity matters so much to people that like, why not connect it? It's just a fun, badass movie. I mean, also it's kind of funny. The expectations are like lower for me because the last one was so unbelievable. I just don't find a world in which you can be anywhere as good as the last one this movie's ever made. I think, period. Like it's a 99 out of 100 for me. It should be probably 100. It's like. So it's kind of nice. Like I don't expect to be that good. So if it's anything even close to it, like it's a huge win. So we'll see on that. Movies. This was definitely at CCXP. It's Godzilla. By the way, what a time to release a Godzilla trailer. You have Godzilla -1 in theaters, which we are reviewing on this show on YouTube and on the podcast form. Considered maybe the best Godzilla movie ever made just came out. And American audiences love it. And now you're trying to continue what has been a successful franchise, like for sure. Like it's been a successful franchise. People like it. I enjoy it quite a bit. I like the last 2. Even the Cranston one for its faults, I still enjoy. But Godzilla X Kong, the new empire. They're friends now. What are quote our friends from the Weekly Planet podcast? They're mates now. Gooch put down stars, Godzilla and King Kong. Yeah, they're back. Rebecca Hall, Ken Jack's boy, Dan Stevens.
My man
loves
right there.
Dan Stevens. Brian Tyree Henry. Directed by Adam Wingard. Comes out April 2024. Interesting trailer. I got to say up the top,
Godzilla
did not like the young King Kong. Looked really weird to me.
Little baby.
Goofy as fuck.
Something looked off there. Yeah, Adam Wingard also did Godzilla vs. Kong as well. Did the Blair Witch remix, Death Note, some other stuff. But I like the last one. I'm excited for this. As long as it's big, dumb action, great. That's what it should be for this.
Mm-hmm. This movie should have come out in what month did they wear all the breast cancer awareness stuff in football? That was that Godzilla. He was decked out in the breast cancer awareness pink gear, like accessories that come up when you're playing Madden. October, right? They always look sick as hell. It's kind of like you said, where it's like I watched this trailer in the aftermath of watching what we're going to review, Godzilla -1, which is like, well, we'll talk about it more, but like I would say the best Godzilla movie ever. And then you can see this, and it's like the biggest, dumbest, just idiotic Godzilla movie ever. And it's like, it's tough. It's just a really rough time for it to come out. And medium mentally, like Monarch 2 and all that other shit.
I could not disagree more, Ken Jack. This is the perfect time for it. Godzilla fans get what really, I mean, that is a perfect setup for them. They get the very serious take from Toho, who keeps putting out Shin Godzilla was the one before this, and then just got Godzilla -1. So they're getting like these really high level, like very thoughtful Godzilla movies. And then Legacy is just putting out like, the dumbest shit you've ever seen, but it just kind of rules, like the Fast and Furious of monster movies. So they're getting the best of both worlds. Like,
so this is where I would disagree, and I'll compare it to this because there's not many other properties out there where they do like simultaneous releases of the same IP.
Yeah.
And like, imagine if they were to release at the same time, like the Batman sequel, and then also a Zack Snyder Batfleck movie. Like, which one of those are you going to see in the theater on a weekend? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very tough. And like, imagine that Batman 2, or the Batman 2 is getting all this crazy critical acclaim, like, oh my god, it's the best Batman movie ever. And then you got Zack Snyder's Batfleck solo origin movie coming out.
We're about to get that. Batman 2 and Batman Brave and the Bold will come out like within a year of each other.
Yeah, but that's what I guess is kind of what I'm saying, right? Where it's like you're cannibalizing an audience. Like, how much Godzilla does a weekend audience possibly want? And the thing is, like, obviously the Wingard one will make more money and it'll do all that stuff because it's like just not a subtitled foreign picture, and that's just how it works. But like, it's just, I think you over Godzilla yourself, which is rough. But I will say the great thing for Godzilla -1, amazing word of mouth. I don't think I've seen anyone say a bad word about it anywhere. Very good word of mouth at all, and I think it's really driving people to go and see. I wouldn't be surprised if they extend the runs and stuff like that because people are going nuts for this Godzilla.
It outsold Wish this weekend.
Crazy. Kids
That's
fucking
Wish is struggling.
Yeah, but still, like a children's animated movie from Disney, like a major Disney animated movie in December, getting bodied by a big old lizard boy.
Yeah. Fucking God. I don't know. I mean, we've talked about this, I think, with Godzilla vs. Kong and King of the Monsters and all that shit. Those movies, they are what I go to. Like, what's so great about Godzilla -1 is the human stories and stuff, which we'll talk about later. These movies, the one thing I think is a huge knock on them is they attempt the human stories and they always fail. Yeah. You couldn't give a rat's ass about a single human in any of these movies, and maybe that'll be more of hopefully a strength here, where like they just don't focus on any humans here and they just do all like, hey, let's see these monkeys and Godzilla just beat the shit out of each other.
Which kind of happened with the last one, right? Like the last one,
yes.
They didn't really focus too much, but enough to make it be like, all right, this is at least palatable and not just loud for 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it King of the Monsters? They were like, yeah, let's look at this eco-terrorist group led by fucking Charles Dance, Tywin Lannister. Yeah, I don't even remember that, do you? And like Kyle Chandler's doing something in it. Like Millie Bobby Brown and podcaster Brian Tyree Henry are doing shit. Like you couldn't name a character in any of these movies. Could you? Off the top of your head? Couldn't name a single human being character.
No, I couldn't tell you what their names are. No,
because no one gives a shit. Everyone's there for Godzilla vs. Kong, and like for some reason, we need to like pretend like we need to care about these humans just so that we can watch these giant monsters beat the fuck out of each other. You know?
What an interesting
eco-terrorist. There was a run of eco-terrorist movies between that and fucking Bond and
It's all cyclical. It's private military corporations, eco-terrorists, the big CEO bad guy, like all the same shit.
First trailer for House of the Dragon release, season 2 of House of the Dragon. Obviously, the prequel series to Game of Thrones comes back to HBO next summer. A little about a year and a half hiatus, I believe. What did you guys think about the trailer?
I think I don't think I was as big a fan of House of the Dragon as you guys. I think it definitely picked up a ton of speed in the later half. Like once they were all adults, I think it really hit its stride. And I think just watching this trailer, I don't think they give us like a ton, you know? So it's tough to make like an honest assessment, but I'm excited for it. I mean, Game of Thrones time is amazing because it is, even with House of the Dragon, obviously to a lesser effect than a regular Game of Thrones. It's like the show everybody's talking about. Everyone's live tweeting it. It's like football for TV. You know, it's crazy. And I do love that element of this show. So excited for that to come back.
Yeah, I didn't have much of a reaction to this trailer either. I mean, there's really not much to react to, but I am excited for we all love fantasy here. So like the more high quality fantasy shit that you can put on my screen, I'll be happy about it. I will say HBO needs this to do well. Obviously, first season was a big win for them, but they need to keep doing well with these Throne spinoffs because they have, 50 of them coming?
It cost like $1 trillion each.
Yeah.
They really do. I can't even keep track of like what they have on the board here because they've canceled some, but some are still going. Yeah. I thought it looked fine. Yeah, I liked it. And I thought it was really good, but I don't like it's not one of the more. There's one we're going to talk about in a second, which I'm actually way more excited for. So no, I'm looking forward to it. They did a good job with the last one. They have a lot of good people involved in it. I hope it's as good. Like I know it's such a canned answer, but like I don't really didn't really move the needle in any crazy way for me.
Yeah, we need like
I kind of just trust
trailer.
HBO. So yeah, for the most part, I think they did a nice job to recover from bad vibes and juju from the end of Game of Thrones.
Correct.
So Fallout, though, this is the one I'm more excited for, coming to Amazon Prime Video. Based on the game series, which I did not play the game. I know the game.
Great game.
It's an easy game to recognize. Cover art, all that shit. Depicts the aftermath of a nuclear war in an alternate history of 1950s-esque retro-futuristic world. Walton Goggins, Ella Purnell, Kyle MacLachlan. Walton Goggins in one of the lead roles is a huge reason for me to be into this. I love Walton Goggins. Amazing everything he is in. A little bit of a Western, I guess a return to like Western stuff for Walton Goggins. Like it's pretty cool. Obviously he's in Justified on FX. Among other things, like he was in
Django.
He was in Django. He was in Hateful Eight. Yeah, he was in a bunch of random stuff.
Hateful Eight,
but he just fits that world so well. And this is such a cool concept. I thought the trailer looked really great too.
Yeah. So the games are awesome. Like I think specifically 3, and then like New Vegas. I think we did video games drafts before. I've had in like my top 3 games ever. I love Fallout New Vegas. But the what do you call it? I think the biggest draw, and I would agree with you, is Walton Goggins. Not just because of like him in the Western spot, but him as a ghoul is perfect because ghouls are just what Walton Goggins is in most of his movies. They're just like these like kind of like I don't know how to explain it, like these renegade guys that just walk up and like, hey, what's going on, smooth skin? They're like these irradiated humans that like you come into contact with throughout the world. They're very funny. And like there's like all their versions, like feral ghouls. Like I don't know, it's very cool. But most of the stuff we saw in this trailer was cool. Like Brotherhood of Steel suits, like looked great. Like most of the visuals looked awesome. The Chris Parnell mutated human in the vault I didn't get because it's the whole idea of the vaults is like these regular humans stayed in the vaults and avoided all of the fallout, the literal titular fallout, all the nuclear radiation, all that shit. And then they come out of the vaults and they realize that the whole world is fucked up. There's all these irradiated weird creatures. The one thing I am very excited to see, and I don't think I saw it in the trailer, is a Deathclaw, which was, I'm not sure I've ever been scared more than my first encounter with a Deathclaw in Fallout. They are horrifying, especially in Fallout New Vegas, where if you try to take a shortcut to, and people have played this will know this, if you try to take a shortcut to the very first objective like of the game, you have to go through like Deathclaw Valley, and these things are horrifying. But other than that, like it looks good. I can only hope for it to be anywhere close to as good as the game. But at the same time, I don't know where in the game they're going because like this looks like a mix of stuff from Fallout 3 and Vegas, which would be great. But I don't know where in the story you kind of run with it because the story, some of it's good, some of it's bad. So, and a lot of it's just like choice-based stuff, which is not always great to be like a basis for a storyline. So I don't know. I'm excited for it regardless.
Which Fallout's the one with the Marty Robbins songs all throughout?
Name the Marty Robbins song.
You'd recognize them like immediately. I don't know.
They both have a lot of songs. Like
it's like Western
Vegas
music.
is the ones that would be Vegas then probably because Fallout 3 I think is in DC, and then New Vegas is obviously Vegas area, which is ironic. Do you remember we did that dozen match the other day? Henderson was one of the answers. I knew Henderson that because in Fallout New Vegas, there's an Air Force base there, and you have to go to Henderson to reach it or something. I forget what the Air Force base is called, but it's like in that area.
Jonathan Nolan involved too, by the way. Christopher Nolan's brother, who also did Westworld and many other things too. Very famously, was part of the. He also co-wrote some stuff with Christopher Nolan. Some of the big stuff.
The Tony Scott
very
baby.
Famous. Didn't he punch up some of Terminator Salvation to like an uncredited screen?
I don't know.
Writing credit.
He did write Insomnia, I think, or Memento.
Yes,
sorry.
he did. Okay.
He
He's
wrote
uncredited on
Memento.
Salvation, but it led to Christian Bale with a great quote about the director of Salvation, Mick G, where he said, "There's a lot of room for many approaches." And he said, McGee said, "Give me a chance. Everyone needs to evolve, and I need to turn over a new leaf. And please, you must have been in the position before yourself when someone has taken a leap of faith on you, which I have. Please do that for me now. I promise you that I'm ready for it." And then, then Bale said, "There's a lot of room for many approaches and many characters within the film industry. I won't be working with McGee again, but I wish him very well." But yeah, Nolan was asked to come in and help, like at least recover the script a little, because it was like apparently. Like if you don't like Salvation, imagine it worse, because apparently it was so bad.
I have a soft spot for Salvation. I think there's a lot of stuff in Salvation that's really cool, but there's a lot of it that's very much not great.
McG. Would McG have a different respect level if his name wasn't McG?
It's
Probably,
just the name.
yes.
That's the name of a music video director. That's not. He shouldn't have ever been anything else.
Full name Jonathan McGinty Nickel. Boo.
Big time. Boo.
I'm trying to decide if that's better or worse.
Was it Jonathan McGinty you said?
Yeah.
His name is like
Joseph McGinty Nickel. And then from that to another video game trailer, which Kenjack, you'll take it from here. Halo Season 2, which I got to be honest with you, man. Didn't know they were doing it. I didn't know. I didn't remember.
I knew they were doing it. Oh boy, did I know. Again, I'll just reiterate what I said after the first season of Halo. There's stuff in there that they did that was awesome. Like every fight sequence in that Halo show looked incredible, and it was like it was everything you could expect or hope for with a Halo game adaptation. Everything else, story wise, dog shit, absolute dog shit. It feels like it's something made by somebody who has never even smelt a fucking Xbox 360 game before, or Xbox game, or even like looked at the campaign or done any of that shit. And it is one of the most frustrating watches I think I've ever forced myself through my life. Because like usually with a series, if I don't like it within like 3-4 episodes or something like that, like I'm done with it. I forced myself to watch it because I love Halo and I love the storylines and I think they're awesome. Again, read the books, all that shit, love the games. Like I've bought whatever the last Xbox was, I bought it just so I could play that Halo. Because I wanted to play the storyline. And like every now and then I'll just go and watch the fucking playthroughs like they're a movie on YouTube. And like that show just has no appreciation at all for what makes Halo great. And it is so fucking frustrating. And it is just a waste of money. And I can't believe they're doing a season 2. Because like the reception to it that I saw, at least from Halo fans, was almost universally negative. So I'm just surprised. But I guess maybe non-Halo fans must have tuned in, or maybe they just looked at the raw tuning in numbers and not the actual like how I appreciated this, or if I did at all. So I don't know.
The helmet off thing is still
stupid.
The first time you see Master Chief in this trailer, his helmet's off.
Dude, he has his helmet off within like fucking 10 minutes of his screen time in season 1.
What felt wrong about watching this trailer was I can't believe we live on a planet where there's a Halo series trailer and the theme plays at the end and it's a nobody gives a shit moment.
Yep.
Like that should get the goosebumps going.
Yep.
And it's exactly. Like, I liked the beginning of the last series. You and I were very high on it, and then it all just kind of
turned to shit. Like after the first, I think like the second episode, because it was like brutal, like legit Halo action. Like it was cool, and then just their version or their take on the storyline of Halo was just the dumbest shit I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Like so frustrating. Fuck, man. Give me the reins. Give me like I don't want to actually be in charge of the nuts and bolts, like any of the minutia whatsoever, because I wouldn't know how to do any of it. Just let me map it out for them. That's it. I'll just make you the fucking runway. I don't know how to fly a plane. Let me build the runway for you. That's it. You know? Fuck, man. So annoying.
The next thing is back to HBO. It's True Detective. This is an interesting one. True Detective Night Country, which this is like, it's set in the fictional town of Ennis, Alaska, and follows an investigation behind the disappearance of 8 men from a research station. Stars Jodie Foster, which I'll get to in a second, and Kaylee Reese, I believe. That's how you pronounce it. In the lead roles. Callie, and Fiona Shaw also in it. Chris Eccleston is in it. Famously did not want to be back in Thor. Then it made a lot of money, and he wanted to be back in Thor. This is a weird. So I guess is this like supernatural? Like what's going on here? Like this is this hasn't happened in True Detective before, right? This is like a supernatural spin now.
I feel like they trace it a little bit, and then it comes back to Earth. Like even in that first season, we're like, oh, the Yellow King,
Yeah.
shit. Like,
but this seems pretty on the nose, right?
Yeah.
Also, I don't want to speak ill on a legend, but I feel like Jodie Foster's kind of mailing it in this one, right?
Yep. Which is weird because again, this is no matter how much season 2 really did suck, and season 3 was pretty solid. Like that, this is like a pretty vaulted property, right? Like people still they think very highly. I think for the most part of True Detective on a whole, even again, no matter how bad that second season was.
Do they? I feel like every time you bring up True Detective, all anybody says is season 1 was good, and then it fell off.
People think like season 1 though was
still
amazing.
Hold it to a bit of a high standard, right? Or like just because it's still viewed in like a bit of a rosy sense, right? Maybe not.
I'd say people still think of it at the very worst. Like most people, I would say think of it as that was one elite season of television and a really bad second season. So that I guess maybe equals out, and it's on HBO. It's fucking prestige TV. So I don't know.
A show did not benefit from an influx of memes, by the way. Every meme that was dropped about True Detective Season 2 just built up the hype and built it higher and higher and higher and higher. It never even came close to reaching that level.
Dude, I had people arguing with me about, because I posted a bunch of like screen caps of the dialogue from that season, which is unbelievably bad. And people like defend it. It's crazy.
Vince Vaughn was talking. Vince Vaughn was reading from a fucking thesaurus.
Dude, horrid. There was
who's writing this season? Do we know? Is it Nick Pizzolatto?
That was anti-Italian and racist. We're gonna have to cut that.
True Detective Season 2 is written by. Doesn't say. Oh yeah.
No, Season 4. Season 2 was written by.
I mean Season 4. First season without him.
Oh.
This season is?
Issa Lopez. It will be the showrunner, screenwriter, all that. And she's from Mexico and done a bunch of what seems like projects from there. So this is kind of like her first big American thing, or English thing. Interesting.
Sounds right.
Yeah, Jodie Foster seems to weird. Maybe it'll be good with Jodie Foster, but it's also kind of strange. Are they doing Severance Season 2, by the way?
I thought they bailed on it.
Didn't they say no?
They had a bunch of issues, I think, on set.
I think they did end up going forward with it, but yeah, they had a bunch of issues.
Like everyone was fighting with each other about stuff. I don't know what, but
which would be a real shame because
bummer.
That ends on an all-time cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's as cliffhanger as it gets.
Do you remember when we interviewed Adam Scott right as Severance had? I think probably a couple months after it ended. And I remember talking, we mentioned him, and I looked it up right before because we were doing like interview research. Like their casting calls out for season 2, and I remember asking him like, "Oh yeah, it's not like season 2's casting. Like, what are you guys like plans for it?" And he's like, "Oh, we don't have season 2 renewed yet because I guess I don't know if I accidentally like outed that or something like that. Just but like the casting calls are out there. Was that like?" Is that a bad thing you're not supposed to do? I feel like if it's out there, then it's public that you're going for a season 2.
You're spoiling shit. You're discussing filming it.
I was hey man, the casting call is out there. It wasn't like I don't want to say what discussing film did, but yeah.
I think the last thing is just his Ocean's 11 prequel with Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. Apparently, it'll be set in the 1962 Monaco Grand Prix, centered around them teaching their children how to steal from the rich. They are Danny and Debbie Ocean's parents, apparently.
Yeah, let's
directed
not
by
make
Jay
this
Roach.
Steal from the rich thing. Let's not let bubbles burst. Let's move on from that. Let's move on from the eat the rich fucking dialogue coming from Hollywood. That was very cool. That bubbles burst. It's gone. It is. Let's move on. Let's make it. Hey,
getting rich.
Yeah, let's steal from rich people so that we can also become rich. Let's not make it like, oh, I'm stealing because I ethically disagree with the concept of rich people. Like, no, it's not where they make them steal from rich people because they want to be rich. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, the original Ocean's movies were cool because they were so stylish and like rich looking. Like
exactly.
George Clooney and Brad Pitt looked fucking amazing. Matt Damon, they all looked fucking incredible. They looked like rich people you'd want to hang out with.
I wasn't like, look at this Robin Hood character, Danny Ocean, because he's not stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. He's keeping all the money.
No, but outside of that little plot point, I mean, this is a home run. Home run. Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, those are the two biggest stars in the world right now.
Yeah, you got to do them. Like, there's a reason. I mean, whatever. I don't think these work without Soderbergh involved. Yes. Mm-hmm. I don't think they work without Soderbergh involved. I don't know. I think this is a rare opportunity where I think it actually needs some cameos. It needs some pop to it. Like, it's got to be fun on an unapologetic level. That's why the first one's so good. It's just a fun fucking time. And it's a great ensemble that works well together. The last one just wasn't, yeah, I don't know. I just
stunk.
Yeah, it was so mediocre, and it kind of distracted somehow from the heist. Like, the heist has to be the big thing. And the last one just didn't hit. When the heist doesn't hit, it just doesn't work.
Which you can ask like Ocean's 13 about that too. Like that's not like a thing secluded to Ocean's 8 or an issue to them.
Yeah, and like 13's fun and enjoyable, but it never really hits like 11 does. And 12 gets goofy with the Julia Roberts thing. It's impossible to replicate what the first one did. It really is. Like, movie stars are different nowadays. It's just, yeah.
Which one had Vincent Cassel doing the dance through the lasers? That was 12. Right? It was the cool ass song playing. I'll cape for that scene.
He's great. I mean, Cassell is awesome.
That ending sequence with him like talking to them is very great. Is awesome. Yeah, at nighttime. I'll always go to war for that. I don't know. 60s, I think, is good for this. Grand Monica. That seems like such like an elegant sort of time, right? Like, it just seems perfect for those two, especially when you think about like her playing.
It just doesn't need a message. The first one's about him getting his girl back. He's getting back the gal.
He's getting his girl back.
His life back.
Getting rich.
Yeah, and he's a lot of money.
Jay Roach doing 60s Europe. That's a home run.
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers. Baby. Yeah, baby.
Could be a cameo.
That's your cameo.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Oh my god! Or like Basil Exposition, where that dude's name is. I don't know what that actor's name is. Do you remember him in Curbed? Very funny.
Steal from them fascist pigs.
Yeah.
Hello, Gosling.
He's like, oh wait, no. There's the meme to make. By the way, it's Gosling and driving his car, and then the thing pops open, and it's Basil Exposition telling him his new mission or whatever.
That is it for movie and TV news. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video. A lot of stuff, a lot of things dropping, but that's it for news. For Ken, Jack, and Gooch, I'm Jeff D. Lowe. We'll talk to you next time.